I was young, excited. It was my first overseas trip, a massive opportunity for me as a junior software developer. The company was paying for everything: flights, training, accommodation, the works. All I had to do, sign a contract agreeing to stay at the company for 2 years afterwards. I thought, no big deal. This is amazing. But what I did not know then is that signing that work back agreement would come back to haunt me. And I am sharing this today so that you do not make the same mistake I did. So let me take you back. I was working as a junior dev, and the company I worked for offered to send me overseas for some specialized training. I was thrilled. It was going to be my first time flying internationally, and I could not believe I was getting this kind of opportunity so early in my career. Before the trip, they gave me a contract to sign. It was a 2-year work-back agreement. Basically, they were saying, we are investing in you, so if you leave within 2 years, you need to pay back everything we spent on you. At the time, I did not think much of it. I signed it without asking any real questions. Fast forward a year later, I was ready for a new opportunity. I had grown, I had learned a lot. I wanted to explore other opportunities, but I could not leave. The agreement locked me in. If I resigned, I would have had to pay everything with immediate effect, and I did not have that kind of money lying around. I felt stuck. And that experience taught me one of the biggest career lessons of my life. So, what is a work-back agreement? A work-back agreement is a contract clause that says, if the company invests in you, for instance, through training, relocation, or bursaries, you commit to staying for a certain period. If you leave early, you repay the cost. Sounds fair on the surface, right? But here's the catch. Most people sign these when they are young, excited, and do not realize what they are getting into. And some companies use them in ways that are not fair, ethical, or transparent. Now, at face value, a work-back agreement seems fair, right? The company invests in you, so you stay a bit longer to repay them. Makes sense. But what they don't always tell you is the fine print, and that is where the danger lives. I've seen cases where someone leaves the company early and suddenly they are handed an invoice with an amount they never expected, sometimes with added interest. And it is not like they give you a payment plan either. Nope, it's pay everything now. And what's worse is that these things can follow you. A friend of mine recently told me she is being sued years after by a company she left ages ago. Apparently, there was a work-back clause in her contract. She is now expected to cover not just the original amount, but also the interest and their legal fees. And she had not even heard from them until recently. To make things even messier, many of these contracts include NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, which means you cannot even speak publicly about what happened. It protects the company, not you. And if we are keeping it real, these clauses are usually aimed at junior employees. Why? Because they are new, they are eager, and in most cases, they do not have the legal awareness or the confidence to ask tough questions. So they just sign, not realizing how deeply it could affect them later. Looking back, I realize how different things could have been if I had just paused and asked a few questions. But when you are young and excited, especially about an opportunity like an overseas trip, the last thing on your mind is legal repercussions. So Here is what I wish I knew and what I hope you remember. Take the contract home. Read it when the emotions have settled. Ask the company, how much exactly would I owe if I left early? Is interest added? Can I pay it off in installments? These questions might feel awkward, but trust me, asking them upfront is better than learning the hard way later. And if the contract feels confusing, talk to someone. It could be a family member, a mentor, a friend in HR, or even just someone older who has been through the working world a bit longer than you. Also, understand your rights. In South Africa, there are labor laws that protect you, especially if the agreement is unreasonable or exploitative. But once you sign, it becomes enforceable. So don't assume you'll figure it out later. Get clarity now. And here's something I did not realize at the time. You can negotiate. You can ask to shorten the term. You can say, this amount seems high. Can we cap the repayment? You are allowed to advocate for yourself. Being grateful for the opportunity and protecting your future, those two things can coexist. Now, maybe you are watching this thinking, but Ellek, I have already signed a work-back agreement. What now? First of all, breathe. It's not over, and you still have options. The first thing you need to do is pull out that agreement and read it carefully. Go through the exact wording, not what you remember it saying, but what is actually written. Sometimes the terms are not as strict as you thought, or there may be room for interpretation. Then have an open conversation with your employer. I know that can feel intimidating, but it is better than going silent. Ask if there is room to negotiate. Maybe you can pay back a portion or agree on a timeline that works for both sides. The worst thing you can do is disappear and hope it all goes away. That is when legal action becomes real. Stay in communication, and if things start to feel unfair or one-sided, speak to someone, even a free legal clinic or a labor rights organization. These are places where you can go for help without needing a lawyer upfront. And most importantly, keep records. Every email, every message, every conversation. If anything ever escalates, that paper trail becomes your protection. So, let me say this loud and clear. Opportunities are amazing. Travel, training, upskilling, these are all great things, but they should not come with a trap door. Before you sign any contract, especially one that locks you in, take the time to understand what it really means. And if something does not feel right, ask questions, get clarity, protect your future. Because your career belongs to you, not a company, not a clause, not a signature you made under pressure. If this video helped you, hit that like button, subscribe, and share with someone who is just getting started in their career. I'm Ellek. This is 360 Careers, helping you grow, show up, and protect yourself along the way. Let's go.